Quite important to remove these two top screws. That it is the DVD and CD drive lock. So if we do not remove them, your CDs and DVDs will not go in. So make sure you remove those two screws before you do the installation. Alright guys, so here's a FPV here today we've got, and we're going to remove the factory head unit and put one of our MK1 audio unit in it. Technically, to remove this unit there is only 6 screws, 4 of them in the bottom, which is one. There's one right behind this. There's this 2, 3 and 4 of them right here. Those 4 comes off, and you've got 2 more underneath the top lid, which this top lid can just pop out. Lift it up, it just pops out. There's 2 more screws on top, and once that's removed, the head unit is easily just slides out, and there's nothing else holding it. Okay guys, here's a new video of installation of this Falcon FG unit, as the old one, some of our customers were absolutely driving us. I don't want to just use the word, but yes, you can just sort of, if you're not sure 100%, please take it to a local audio installer. This video is only a general information. I'm not asking you guys to just do it 100% as what I'm recording, and as every single hand move and a screw move that I'm doing it, you must do the same. No, I'm not asking you to do that. This is just a general information of how to roughly do a installation on these units. And if you're really not sure, please take it to a local installer. So that's our head unit that we've removed from the FG head unit just right now. So there's 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. You remove all the 4 screws, this panel comes off. So there's only 4 screws, guys. Or could be 3 screws on your unit, or 1 screw, or 2 screws, depends on what version and what model of the FG you have. But once you remove them all, 2, 3 or 4 screws, or could be 5, once you remove them, just the panel comes off. There is nothing else is holding it. Now we just flip this around. If you take a look at this button, that's the top part of the LCD part that comes off from this point. So just push it from this point, push it out, just pops out, and push this one as well, and just pops out, just like that. And once it's out, just make sure you undo this cable as well. This is the cable that's holding it right now. We undo the cable, and the whole panel will just pop out and comes off, just like that. There we go. So we've got them separated, and we will just undo this little clip from here and take off our LCD plug from inside here. Okay guys, so once you unclip that, and there's one plug here, the clip, the yellow clip that sits on top of this, you undo that, pull the cable out, and just comes off. That's just a clip. There's no lock in it, or there is no any clicking sound or anything. Just pull it off, it comes out, and it is plugged into the board here, the control panel board. It just comes off, and then you've got 2 screws here, and then you've got 2 screws on this side. Take off both of those screws as in my video. Just take a look at it. 1, 2, and 3 and 4. So just once you take off these 4 screws, this main ICC unit, it should just come off. There is nothing else that's holding it. So just like that, take it off, and that should just basically come off. That's all you have here. There's nothing else. So these are the 2 parts that we're going to replace it. So that's one part, and the second one we're going to replace it. This part we will be using it again. So that's our part that we will connect our new ICC unit, plug in again the same type of plug that you unplug in, the same type of thing. We'll plug back in there, put our unit in there, put the screen on top here, and then put them back inside the car. Simple as that. Okay guys, so we need these yellow clips, the 4 little clips to come out, and just we're going to be using it on the new screen that we have there. So just use something small enough and be very gentle with them, because so many years and just the sun has keep hitting them and they will become quite dry and it's very easy to break them. So be quite gentle with them as much as you can. But if you do break them, it's not the end of the world. You can just find them again. Just go to Wreckers or go to Ford and just buy a couple of these ones. They're pretty cheap anyway, but try not to, because it's just waste of time and a lot of stress. Go get new ones. So here we go. We got all 4 of them down. That's all 4. And we don't need this part anymore. So that's all done. Okay guys, so this is our package. That's what it comes. That's the new LCD screen. As you can see, that's our screen. And that's our new drive that will just go and control the new panels and the whole lot. This is our plugs. That's another main thing that I would just try to remind you guys, that because of these black sponges that goes around it, when you plug it into the main power point, to the plug, you can't see how far it has gone in, and a lot of our customers just pushes it halfway, like that much in, and they keep saying that I'm getting communication errors on the screen, and the actual unit doesn't even turn on. Yes, that's because you haven't pushed it all the way in, so it's about that much. So all this part has to go inside. So it's quite important to just hold it with both hands on 2 corners and just force it all the way as much as you can, as hard as you can. Aim to break it, but you can't break it, of course, because there is a huge metal bar behind the plugs, so it will not go further inside. So just force it as much as you can. Anyway, okay, so guys, that's the plug that goes at the back of our unit, into the back of this one. The CAN bus unit, which there is another plug that just we disconnected it, will go into that, which is these ones. See, there is a smaller one, goes into the CAN bus, just like that. And there is a bigger one which goes into this panel where we remove the other factory plugs, so it just goes in here. If you take a look at it, the orange part of it must be just on that left hand side. Obviously it's just closed right now, but once we open it and start connecting them, will connect in there, and that one will connect at the back of this unit. And there is another cable you've got, which is the LCD cable, which plugs in here and then connects at the back of your LCD, just right here like that. And if your factory setup has a factory USB cable, you plug it into this and plug it at the back of your unit. If it doesn't, then there's 2 USB ports which you can connect it at the back of this unit and run it to the glove box or at the storage compartment and in front of the gear shifter. And that's your reversing camera input, which I'm going to explain it to you when I'm going to install it. That's your radio antenna adapter, which I'll show you where it connects. Well, I mean, it's obvious that there is nothing else, but there is only one plug like that. You can't go wrong with that. Your RCA inputs and outputs. Your microphone input, the aftermarket microphone, which is that one. Now, gentlemen, please take a look. If your panel, when you open it, if you see that's your built-in microphone. That's your factory microphone, which is right here. So that is the factory microphone. It's not above the where the sun visor and stuff is. It's not there, it's here. So when you open it, if you see this one, that's your factory microphone, and yes, it will work. The factory microphone will still work with the new unit. You do not need to run this aftermarket microphone. Yeah, so you don't need to connect this or that if you have that. But if you open your setup and you don't have it, which is on MK2, I believe, if I'm not wrong, please don't hold me for that again. If you don't have that, then you must run the aftermarket microphone, but if you have it, you don't need to run it. It will pick and it will work. Okay, so that's as far as we can go for the accessories now. I will put a few things back together. I'll show you how to put them together, of course, and then we can just show you the connectors in the card, how to connect them. There's one quite important thing in here that I would like to show you guys, that we need to make a new hole on this one. See, there's only 4 holes 1, 2, 3, 4. Right above this one, 15mm higher, which is roughly around here, we will make a new hole. So above this little squarey shape, sort of a square shape, not the round ones, not the round ones, the little squarey shape, 15mm higher roughly, so you can go 14 or 16, it will not kill it, it will still work. 15mm higher, make a hole. What size hole now? Again, a lot of customers ask that, what size hole? So as long as it's big enough to fit one of these screws in it, that's all it is. So you can go a 5mm round and just make a hole in there, and that's all you're gonna need. Do not need to mount the other screws, so only one screw goes in here to mount the side of the drive here, the side of this unit. So yeah, I will just make that hole and I will show you guys, and I will mount it, and as well as we mount it, I'll show you as well while we're doing it. Okay guys, so here is the one that we were speaking about it. That's the CAN bus. One side goes to the CAN bus and one side goes to the control panel, which is right here. Now if you just bend it to 90 degree, it's just easily, it can bend it in a, hold it in a way that the orange one is on your left hand side. So the orange is on the left hand side. Now we just put it inside there, make sure it's nice and easily aligned, not to just sort of break any of the clips or bend the clips backwards or forwards, and give it a nice force. And make sure it goes around in here. So that will avoid the plugs from pushing and pulling and coming off. So we're just putting it at the side here. Now hold it there with a finger or something, and then bring your unit. The DVD goes right on top. Just like that. So that sits there, the two screws goes there, and the cable has gone under it. And there's two screw goes on this side. So 2 and 2, and the cable has gone under it, and this part is nice and flush sitting. There is no force on it, and this part is actually holding it to avoid this plug keep popping out while you guys are putting back the unit together. Now we're going to put our 4 screws back on to make it secure. Okay guys, from that side we've got our LCD cable right under the drive, and then from this side we've got our GPS antenna goes right underneath here, and it comes here, so it just gives you more better clearance, not to just bring it across near the brackets to cut it or jam it or make it hard to just push it in there. So we'll just make sure it's tight enough, otherwise your GPS antenna will not have signal. And that's what it is, guys. Now it's ready to just put the plugs on, and we can just take our cables right on top here and just, you can lock it in here, there's no problem with that. Cool. Now we've got our brackets to just go on the side that I said I'm going to make a hole for it. That's the hole that I meant. So right above the little square one just goes another hole right on top, and same thing on the other one as well. So there's 2 of them, as you can see, and there's 2 new holes on them, and we go ahead and start putting them on together. So I'm gonna flip this so you can see it a lot more easier. So that's our left hand side one, and that's where it's gonna mount, right into that one single screw right in here. That's all it is. Once that's mounted, then there's a top part that gets mounted, and of course the rest of it just gets mounted into the vehicle. Okay, I'll put them together and I'll get you another shot. This is our LCD cable that just connects the main ICC unit to the top screen, which we're going to run it right under this bracket. So this is our new bracket that just goes under it, and you just go on the side here, and you just fold it at the side here, just like that, and then just goes on top here and connects to the camera, connects to the screen here on top. Okay guys, here we go. The new holes are being done and it's being screwed and mounted, and the cable, the panel cable, just goes right under and comes here, connects to your CAN bus decoder. And on this side there's another one which is mounted, of course, for this panel on this side. There's your GPS antenna which goes on top, and that's what it is. Now we're going to just mount our LCD screen and the LCD wires, and we're good to go. Alright guys, so here's our bracket that's being mounted on now. Now these plastic clips that, if you remember, we removed them from the original screen. Just put them back all together, nice and easy, slides in and clicks in. Done. Now we're going to just bring it and click them together. So here's our main ICC, and that's the one that, if you pay attention to these two holes, one here, these are the clips that are gonna go inside, and there is the center one. If you take a look at, there is a small little hole in the center, that one. Make sure you align it with this little clip here, and once you have those two, then you're good. And that's it, guys, we're on. This is the part that we put the brackets on, and that's the little mounting hole for it, which we're going to use a couple of these screws that we removed from the factory ICC unit, which we don't need them anymore. Align them nice and easily and put the screws on and tie it up nice and fit. There you go, that's one side, and flip it around and do exactly the same thing on the other side. There it is. Done. So that's all fit, set, ready to go. Alright guys, so regarding the factory reversing camera, which you will have, once you unplug the top LCD screen, you will have 3 plugs up there, or 2 or 3. One of the plugs, the smallest plug, you will have it just like that. So if you pay good attention to it, holding it towards myself, that the clip is towards myself, the plug, the actual plug is towards myself, and then on top, the first one is your power. That's the red, power for the camera, negative, power for the camera, and the yellow is your video. Now what we're going to need is one of these RCA plugs with just like that. So the one end goes to our car DVD, to the unit, the new unit, and the other end, which is that side, is just a small wire which has nothing else but 3 wires inside. We strip it down just like that. So there is 3 wires. So if you follow the same color, yellow to yellow, red to red, and black to black, then you're perfectly fine. That's all you gotta do. Make sure, guys, please make sure you put some iron, hot plate iron, or whatever you call that, to solder them in the correct spot so that they don't move or don't get loose and don't just give you that flickering on the screen. So yeah, but if you do not have access to any soldering unit at the time, yes, you can strip it and just sort of make sure that you just do it quite long, so you can just go a longer distance and just put a really nice and easy tape on it, and then just make sure that you keep them separate from each other. Do not, once you finish the taping, do not put them all together and then tape it. That will cause a bit of interference, so just keep them always separate. Here we go, one more view of this. We've done that and put some soldering on it. So as you can see, yellow to yellow, black to black, red to red. I hope you don't mix them up, and yes, it works. If it doesn't work for you guys, it means you've done something wrong, you've connected something wrong. So pay attention, please. So number 1 is the red, number 2 is the black, number 3 is the brown, which we're ignoring it, we're not putting anything on it, and number 4 is the yellow one, which is our video. Cool. And now for this cable, that's this one here. That one, the yellow part plugs into our video input plug that I show you guys on the previous video, and this loose red wire, which is our power wire, we will connect it to reverse wire into our unit. It's a brown wire, it will say reverse on it, which in a few moments I will show you guys. So now we're just going to drop it on the side here, and we're going to just grab it from right underneath here, and of course we try our best to make sure they're nice and tidy, not in front of anything or anywhere, not to block anything, just nice and neatly at the side here. And then just drop it right in the bottom corner here. Here we go, that's ready to be plugged in. Cool with that, guys? So this is the little plug for the video input, for the camera, reversing camera input. So the one that we run from the top, now it's here. Plug it in here. Do not worry about this one that says brake, and do not worry about the rest of these two white ones that's being disconnected. For this little red one, connect to the brown wire which says reverse on it, and that white plug plugs in at the back of our new unit. Guys, so the brown cable that I was just telling you, so it's right here, a single brown wire, and it says reverse on it, so that will get connected to this one. Please do not ask me how to connect it, and if you don't know how to connect it, please take it to a auto installer. Just strip them together, wrap them together, put some soldering iron solder on it, and then put some tape on it, and that's all it is. And just put some tape on this as well, not to get loose. That's the cable that I was telling you guys to just make sure you put your entire mighty force on it. You can never break them because there is a huge metal beam at the back of this one. You cannot break it, so you got to just sort of force it as much as you can, just like that. See the distance? See how this punch has been pulled backward? And if it's not doing that, it means it's not all the way in. So it's just like less than 1 centimeter is left from the whole thing. The whole plug has gone inside, and it's less than 1 centimeter left out. And if it's not that far in for you guys, it means it's not in, and it will give you the comms error, communication error on the cluster right there, in there. We will get some errors in there, and the unit will not turn on, or even if it does turn on, some parts will not work. Okay, now as for this one, plugs in at the back of our new unit, which is right here. That's it. And that's our LCD cable, which plugs in here. Just like that. That's our reversing camera that we made it ready. It plugs into this point. Don't get mixed up with that, because you can't plug them in any other one anyway, so that's all good. And there's a few other. Now that's our radio antenna adapter, which is plugging into this one, just like this. Clicks in, and that goes at the back of our unit, which is right here, once we get closer to it. And that's our RCA input, which is auxiliaries and all that point as well. So these are our auxiliary inputs. And that's our, if your vehicle has a AUX input, which is right that one. So you find your AUX line in, and you plug it into either one. It makes no difference which one. Okay, so they're both AUX, and they're both connected together. So just plug it in there, and that will connect at the back of our unit right here. So it just connects right here into that bigger plug, and that's it. Your AUX is connected as well. Now this little white plug, which is our CAN bus decoder programs, is quite important to make sure you don't forget it. It is very small, but make sure it is plugged in, because it's very important. If that's not plugged in, the unit will not work. Simple as that. So that's quite important. That's our CAN bus decoder, that little white plug with two wires. And then you've got our USB adapters. If you have a factory USB, the plug will be right on top here, and that will just plug into here, and will give you a USB just like this, and you just tap them into one of these ones, and that's an extender. You extend it, and that little tiny one plugs at the back of the unit, and that's how you activate your factory USB port. But if you don't have the factory USB port, so just forget about that part, and just connect this one at the back of the unit, and you can run it into the glove box, which is from the side here. There's a huge hole. You just drop it from the side here and take it inside the glove box. Okay guys, so once you make everything nice and neatly at the back, just like this, run the cables on the two sides, perfectly nice, and then we just put it right against that, sliding things, and then just nice and easily slide it in. Make sure, you guys, that these cables are all dropping down. It's not actually in front of your brackets. No wires, no cables, no nothing, because first of all, if it is, it will not go in. But even if you force it to go in, it will cut your cables and something will not work, of course. Make sure all your cables are nice and easily, very nice and clean, nothing in front of these brackets, these ones. So that's our main brackets right here. Add a focus, yep. So that one is our main bracket. Make sure there's no metals, nothing in front of it, and just force it all the way in. I'm not sure if you heard that click sound or not, but it just sits nice and flush here. If you take a look at it, and on this side, and on top. Okay, so here we go. Now we have installed our Apple CarPlay device and our Apple CarPlay software into the unit, which is basically this little device right here. Of course, you gotta just install the software onto the unit as well before you can actually use it. And then plug in your USB ports into this device, into that, and your mobile phone into this one. So it's just like a adapter, which I hope I had a few more hands, but it's okay. I'll get this right there, and that connects to it. That's it. And our mobile phone USB cable connects into this, just like that. And then we'll just go ahead and plug in our mobile phone. Done. And just obviously, as soon as you plug it in, that just comes up automatically. It just says you want to connect it automatically. We just say yes, and that's our autoplay box, which we tap on it, and it should just actually pop up on our screen with Apple in connection. Please wait, give it a few seconds, and that should just pop up on the screen. Here we go. So that is our Apple CarPlay. There it is. So Series still works. Hi, can you tell us where is the closest McDonald's?
The closest one I see is McDonald's on Mount Derrimut Road in Derrimut and is moderately priced. Let me know if you want more information.
And that's about it. So all your messages, of course, your phones, your photos, and so on, whatever you got.